The recent clashes at Trepone in the northeast region has caused many to flee their homes. Teachers and other government workers, afraid they could also be casualties, have fled too, and their schools and offices shut. The school closures in particular is taking a toll on candidates preparing for this year's basic education certificate examinations, who say they have had very little contact hours with their teachers. Some of the affected candidates broke down during an interview with the head of the security desk here at Joy News while appealing to government for immediate measures to end the conflict.
The situation that we found at the Trepone EP JHS is the same here. Here we have two different schools put together. They are all BEC candidates and they are supposed to be writing the exams next month. Like we said, at the other side, they've also lost contact hours. I'm not sure how many hours or contact hours they've lost, but over there we know that they've lost about more than a month of contact hours with the teachers. I'm going to find out from these students whether or not they are ready for the BEC, and these are all parts of the effect of the conflict. Let me start talking to you. You are the girls prefect, right? Oh, there is a girls prefect. Okay. So there are about, I'm told that there are about 93 candidates, 93 BEC candidates at the Trepone DA JHS.
Yeah, we've been learning in our various houses more because this conflict has had so many effects on us. We've not been able to come to the school here to study along with our teachers. So we've been studying in our house alone.
How is the studies? How is it like when you have to study in the house? How is it like?
It's not all that effective because when we hear the gunshots around the neighboring villages, we are not able to learn like the way we used to do because there is fear in us. And some of our colleagues in the various villages that have run away. Now our number is less here because of the conflict. Others have run away.
Feel sad about the conflict that has just happened because when we are in our various houses, we are not able to learn like the way if you are in the school and we will learn. Some of us, our village is near outside the conflict started. So if you are learning and you heard the gunshot, you will not be able to learn like the way you used to do, and there will be fear in you.
And when there's fear in you, what do you do based on this fear? What do? You just sit down, and what do you usually do? What happens?
If the fear comes in you, you will not be able to learn. You just close the book and you sit down.
So are you prepared? How are you? How do you feel you are well prepared for the exams? Are you well prepared? You can't say.
Somehow we are not prepared.
As at now, when we are in our various houses, we cannot do anything about it. So they should please stop the conflict because this year the cut-off grade is grade 25. And as we are in the house, we cannot do anything. I'm crying because we are suffering. The government should do something about this conflict because it is really affecting with the BC candidates because the cut-off grade is grade 25. And if we are not learning, what are we going to do in the BC? So we cannot do anything. So please appeal to the two ethnic groups to please stop the conflict, and the government should do something about it so that it will help with the BC candidate to get what he wants in the near future.
That's a very emotional appeal there. That actually makes me very emotional as well. But it's a very difficult situation. It's a very difficult situation for the students here. And this, on my right, on my left, you have student of the DA, Trepone DA Junior High School, and on my right, you have student of the Ando Junior High School. It's a very difficult situation for them, but they are hoping to be able to write the exams.
Now, Shraj Commissioner Joseph Whittal believes getting feuding factions in the Trepone conflict to understand the impact of the actions on the vulnerable can help bring lasting peace.
Well, at the sub-regional level, I mean, you know the disaster that's happening in Boko Haram between Nigeria and Cameroon just cuts across. We all appreciate that these are emerging human rights issues that we need to confront. But there are older ones, in the case of Ghana, like communal violence or conflict, which are so entrenched when you dig deep and go down to get the roots of it, it's about some differences between how the settlements came to be. It's about chieftaincy. Why the power issues and power dynamics should be allowed to play up to today, affecting women, children, because houses are touched. People have to become overnight refugees and leave their places, is what beats the imagination of everybody. So we now have to have the local operators looking at how we can intervene. And when I say local operators, I'm talking of the human rights commissions. NADMO is there to ensure that, if there's any disaster and other problems, the houses are touched, what to do. Peace Council, we have to bring the parties together to begin talking. We need to also let them appreciate the effects of the violence on especially the vulnerable and the human rights dimensions of all that. If we begin to do that, I'm sure we will change minds. We would also assist governments to get some durable solutions to some of the conflicts that are taking place.
Meanwhile, security analyst Dr. Kwesi Ening has questioned the quality of intelligence available to the security agencies in managing such conflict situations. He says rather than sending delegations to calm tensions when violence breaks out, the security agencies would need to gather credible intelligence to help prevent conflict from escalating.
Well, I think there's a very naive assumption that peace is a common good. Peace is not a common good. Not everyone wants peace. That is the basic fundamental reality that we need to accept prior to asking ourselves a series of questions. The second relates, more often than not, we are very hasty in sending delegations to talk to the warring factions. And they will all say, oh yes, please, we are very sorry, we won't fight again. And why are warring factions always quick to say we have stopped fighting? Because it creates a lull in the violence for them to re-equip, to treat their dead or to bury their dead, to treat their wounded, to get better intelligence. So how do we, as the state, respond to this? First is the issue of better intelligence. We need people from the intelligence and the law enforcement side living in those communities for years as ordinary farmers, as laborers, in inverted commas, getting married, and then understanding the drivers of that conflict.
So the head of security desk here at Joy News Gifty, Ando Apia, is in the northeast region with the defense minister. She has been speaking with the defense minister. Let's hear him, or we will bring you that interview in a bit. But moving on, the police administration is quite optimistic. The anti-vigilantism and other related offences bill would prove quite effective in helping law enforcers deal with the menace. According to the service, existing laws rather undermine the authority of the police and other law enforcers in dealing with the phenomenon. Deputy Inspector General of Police James Opongbuenu has been briefing the National Peace Council-led meeting with political parties and other interest groups on disbanding party militias. He warned there will be chaos if criminals are allowed to violate the law.
As soon as parties change or government changes, you find people from these groups assuming or arrogating to themselves powers of state. Some going around seizing other people's properties. Some go around ejecting people from houses and things like that. Of course, those are functions that are supposed to be performed by state institutions. And they actually undermine the authority of the police. Because if Some have gone to the extent of challenging the legitimacy of government appointees. Was it Tamale where a certain gentleman was locked out of the office and he commanded something also happened? We have had intimidation of citizens during registration exercises and elections, and we also have had mass snap of vigilante groups and they're forcibly demanding the release of colleagues in lawful custody. Vigilantism, is it political country? Well, some of us believe that it is. They might be a colleague of mine this one said, oh, but the gentlemen are all of them you see are in suits, so how can you refer to them as such? If you are attacked, you are attacked, no matter how you are dressed. Now, one of the major points that I want to make here is that the general feeling is that the existing law is too lenient in dealing with the vigilantism menace. And I believe that that's why the President has asked that a new law be made to address the situation.
The National Peace Council mediation meeting, the third so far, aims to get political parties to agree on disbanding their militias. Police records show 24 such groups exist, with the MPP and NDC being the main beneficiaries. James Oponbuenu is worried the failure of the state to prosecute such people could threaten the security of the state. Chairman of the Mediation Committee, Nana Professor SKB Asante, says the council is open to ideas from all interested parties to ensure the outcome of the meetings will be accepted by all.
So far, we have made significant progress with respect to obtaining the commitment of the National Democratic Congress and the new contracted party to disband their vigilante groups, prohibit the utilization of such groups, and cooperate with state agencies and stakeholders to eliminate vigilantism. This commitment is reflected in the two communiques issued by the National Peace Council on the 9th and 29th of April 2019, respectively. The NPC is pleased with this achievement and is deeply proud of the NDC NPP for their admirable cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, since we started this process, there have been three important developments. First, a Vigilantism and Related Offences Bill 2019 has been introduced and is currently being considered by Parliament. Essentially, the bill provides for the mandatory prohibition of vigilantism in all its forms. We have already established that its budget, that is the passage of this bill, and this process, and that is this dialogue, are compatible. But it places the responsibility on us to approach the exercise with a goal-oriented vision and utmost seriousness. This brings me to the second development. Parliament has expressed the expectation that the NPC, based on insights gained from this dialogue, will make a significant contribution to the bill. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Peace Council has prepared its comments on the bill, which will be sent to Parliament very soon. However, the NPC is keen to incorporate other views for this submission. Thus, during the course of this dialogue, you will be offered the opportunity to contribute to the shaping of the proposed law.
Right, we're staying with security issues. We're returning to our top story, which has to do with the conflict in Treponi. Defense Minister Dominic Nittul has been touring the area. He visited the community of Garinkuka and been speaking to the people there.
For more than 300 years. They have a lot in common. What is even funny is that the DC that they have spoken so much about, the mother comes from this village. And I'm urging them that from hence, they should lay down whatever weapons that they have. The conflict is over. And that they should look at we, the leaders in government and outside government who have come to appeal to them, and realize that the conflict will bring them nothing else but destruction. They said their children will want to go and write BCE. We can guarantee them that the security will be there enough for the children to go and write their exams. I can also guarantee you that your plea that they should diversify the station of soldiers will be looked into. So very soon you will see soldiers in this community also to come and stay with you here. At the same time, we'll get soldiers to also go to Tambom and also stay in Tambom as well. If you have any complaint, the Ghana Armed Forces personnel are there to be with you and help you. They are not here to fight you. If you have any complaint and when they are here, go to them and talk to them. Don't take the gun and shoot. The soldiers are here to serve you. Don't take the law into your hands and search any vehicle. Let the security people do it. I understand the anger, but anger will not help us. So I thank you for assuring me that from hence there will be no barrier. Is it true or not? Is it true or not? Is it true or not? Is it true or not?
Well, head of our security desk, Gifty Ando Apia, is in the area. She's actually with the defense minister, and she joins on phone right now. Hello, Gifty. Now, we hear the defense minister, Dominic Nittu, will talk about the fact that they are going to deploy soldiers in the communities. Is this what the people actually believe is going to end the conflict?
Exactly so, Israel. This is something that they've been calling for a while now. And indeed, when you listen to the minister, he mentioned that the anger will not help. That is because before he spoke, there had been a gentleman who was speaking very angrily and trying to be as blunt as possible about the security situation. They think that there should be a lot more of the security personnel on the ground in their communities. And so this assurance is certainly something that they've been asking, something they've been expecting, because they've been asking for security presence, especially in the villages, which are usually the hard hit when these attacks happen. So this is exactly what the people have been calling for. And so that's why they got that assurance from the minister, Israel.
Gifty, what's the situation on the ground right now?
Well, Israel, I would say that since the minister visited last week and left, it's been calm. It's been calm. And when you talk to everybody, they all say that, well, since the minister went, it's been calm. It's been fairly stable, I should put it that way. It's been fairly stable. That said, though, I must indicate that it's a very unpredictable situation. And so even with the security people on the ground, when you listen to them, they will tell you that do this, do that, you don't go here, you don't do this, you don't do that. And that's because they don't leave in anything to chance, because as they put it, it's a very unpredictable situation. But since the minister came to Israel, it has been fairly stable, and they haven't had any attacks since the minister came last week. They're still looking at the situation. And when you talk to especially the teachers and the students, because of the DEC, which is upcoming next month, they tell you that we're hoping to open up the schools if nothing happens. They keep saying if nothing happens. So that's what the basis for my point, that it is unpredictable but fairly stable at the moment. In Tripoli town, Israel, people move around. It's very easy to see people moving around. But again, that's because there are a lot of soldiers, a lot of police officers on the ground. But when you have to move to the hinterland, and Tripoli is the district capital, around Tripoli there are so many villages, Konkuba and Tripoli villages, and that's where the attacks happen. If you take Tripoli, it's a state people move around freely, except for the curfew. But when you go to the villages, because those who have been attacked, you find that they're empty, they're deserted. Some of them, you find people just coming in every now and then to check on their burnt property. But before you go there, you mostly need an escort. You mostly need an escort to go there.
Okay. And I can imagine, Gifty, you still have your bulletproof vest on.
No, Israel, I don't have it. That bulletproof, oh my God, it felt like a pregnancy. I must be honest.
You've taken it off. You need to have it on.
No, there are places where you need to take it off. I mean, there are places where you can take it off, especially like in the district capital. You can take it off. But, you know, when you're going into the hinterlands, then you need an escort, and then you need that bulletproof as well. Israel.
All right, you keep safe, Gifty, and appears ahead of the security desk here at Joy News. We're taking a break here on Joy News Prime. Lawyers for NDC National Chairman Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo are urging an Accra High Court to strike out the charge of assault leveled against him. Mr. Ampofo was dragged to the court on charges of conspiracy to cause harm and 2 counts of assault on a public officer following the leak of an audio that state prosecutors alleged to be a plot by the NDC leader to commit various crimes. When the case was called on Monday, lead lawyer Tony Lether argued that it was important for the court to strike out the charge of assault leveled against Mr. Ampofo. There is more in the following report.
Sympathizers of the opposition NDC once again thronged the court premises to lend support to their leader. His lawyers are asking that the 2 counts of assault on a public officer leveled against him be dropped. Another application has been filed by lawyers for Kweku Boahi demanding additional documents from state prosecutors. His lawyers had earlier served notice of challenging claims Mr. Boahi was present during the meeting of party communicators. Director of Public Prosecution Yvonne Atakro-Buobisa told the court the state has since investigated the matter and submitted a report to the court's registry. She said, quote, "The report will speak for itself," end quote. On the request for additional documents, she said the state was opposed to that application. Justice Samuel Esiedu adjourned hearing to June 7 to hear arguments from lawyers on both sides and also to rule on the matter to enable case management conference to commence.
Now, all at once, Ghana has found itself facing a number of security challenges, from kidnappings to terror threats to guns drawn in public places. This raises a question of just how prepared the average citizen is to predict, prevent, or prevail over situations that threaten our personal, community, and national security. In response to this, Joy News has launched a National Security Week, during which conversations about our safety and security will be had with experts who will teach us practical ways of staying safe and keeping an eye on each other in the process. This week-long public awareness initiative is spearheaded by host of the AM show, Kojo Yangsing, who spoke to security and international relations analyst Dr. Vladimir Chudanso.
Ghanaians, we are not security conscious. And the point of threat or whatever is not here nor there. The point is a country's security awareness is very important in creating the situation where we know that we are building a security situation that is impregnable. You go to Israel and children from primary schools know exactly what to do when they see something untoward, when they hear something untoward, when they see something which is not normal. You go to several other places in Russia, France, everywhere, there is that security awareness. And so the experiment you made backfired because the people are not aware. They are in the comfort of their zones. I mean, Ghana is peaceful, we say Ghana is this, Ghana is that. And then they leave the security situation to the so-called security agencies alone. We need to be security conscious. Personal security, community security, national security. These are the 3 levels that we must make conscious effort to have our people understand. Your personal security, which is 90% your own. They say people are raped, they say people are knifed, they say people are torched, burglary and that kind of, that's your personal security. Of course, the security agencies would have their role to play. But then there is also the community kind of security, where all the members of the community have a duty to ensure the community is free of such infractions.
He quit his profession as a fashion designer to become a grave digger. And for the 25 years that he's been making abodes for the dead, he says he's had no regrets. Indeed, he takes so much pride in his work, he says he takes offense when he's not referred to by what he does. Joy News' Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin brings us the story of Muhammad Rabiu, who sees grave digging as a calling from Allah.
Malam Muhammad Rabiu gets ready for work. He sets off in a matter of minutes. Rabiu spends most part of his day at the cemetery where the dead rest. He digs between 10 and 20 graves daily, and each of them takes him and his colleagues 1 hour or more.
15, 20 night, me too. But
we can dig about 20 or more graves a day. Anytime we have about 20 dead bodies, it means an accident has occurred somewhere involving a lot of Muslims.
Rabiu does not care the little money he earns here, but he says it is spiritually fulfilling.
This work is more like a police officer who has passed through several ranks to the level of DSP. If you call him sergeant, he would be angry. Likewise, if you call me Rabiu without attaching Megina Kabari to it, I would not be happy. In fact, you have downgraded me. I am proud of the name and the fact that this work is a calling from Allah.
So how did he find himself in this kind of job?
Roughly, more than 25 years.
I have been doing this for more than 25 years now. I am a professionally trained fashion designer, and I could design very well until Allah called me to this place.
Even before he got married to me, he was already into this work. I am not worried because I know it is the work of Allah. Sometimes they come across snakes and scorpions, but they have never been attacked by any of them.
One of my friend asked me what job your father is doing. Then I say my father is one of the Tafu grave diggers. Then she said, "Hey, is that what your father is doing?" Yes, I'm proud of my father's work too. The one of my friends said, "Don't you think something will happen to him?" Then I say, "No, nothing will happen to him. By the grace of Allah, nothing will happen to him." Then she said, "Okay." Then I say,
Mohammed is not alone here. Many people hate visiting the cemetery simply because of isolation and loneliness. But for the diggers, it is more like a home. They are always here any time of the day when they deem necessary. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin's report for Joy News.
Elsewhere, school authorities at Pakoso Community Day Senior High School in the Ashanti region have rescinded their decision to ban Muslim female students from wearing hijabs in school. It follows protests from the students as well as the Muslim community in Kumasi. Headmaster of the school, Kingsley Edmund Arthur, explains why he was compelled to introduce the restriction because some students hide electronic gadgets under the hijab and listen to music during classes. The students, however, disputes the headmaster's claim. Nana Sensu Mensen visited the school to interact with authorities and other stakeholders who had gathered there over the matter.
According to Quran chapter 33 verse 59, Prophet Muhammad was instructed to tell all wives and daughters and the women of the believers to draw their cloaks or veils all over their bodies. School authorities at Pakoso SHS, however, say students are abusing the religious requirement, putting on earpieces to listen to music during instructional hours. Some of them are also indulged in multiple piercing of ears only to cover it up with hijab.
The use of it is what I don't support. That a student comes to class and is maybe making calls, listening to music and whatever, because he's being covered. For a student to waste time on hair instead of books, that is one of the things I want to control. Only can wear. Yes, but then I'll consult some high personalities in Zongo to come and talk to them.
The student population of Pakoso SHS is predominantly Muslims, about 80%. The call for the ban nearly caused a chaos in the school. Municipal Chief Executive Fasokori Mampong, Elidu Seidu, has called for broader stakeholders' engagement to address the situation.
If we are to track every aspect of their lifestyles within the school, there should be a way. We should have punitive measures than to link it to hijab. Meanwhile, all these things, we use hijab to get them covered. So I said no. As for this, we should rescind the decision. And we all should come together and find a way of tracking all these things and making sure that they don't occur. Because our target is to get Pakusu Senior High to be one of the best schools in Ashanti region. So we need to come together and see where the problem is and come together as a body and a team to find solution for those things.
Muslim leaders intervened to prevent escalating of the dispute, especially during the Ramadan period. The Federation of Muslim Women's Association in Ghana, FOMWAG, has moved to mentor the female students and advise them on school regulations. Hajia Fatima Yasmin Apiedu is president.
We have a role to play here. So the MCE introduced us to the headmaster that he has to, allow FOMWAG to play a role in it so that we be coming to solve issues with the girls. So it will mostly be on advice. We will come here, lecture them, and give them so many things that will help them in their academic work.
Nana Asensumensa reporting.
Deputy Minister of Education Dr. Ose Educhum has reiterated the need to leverage ongoing initiatives to reform Ghana's education sector. He says the world will never wait for the country to use a piecemeal approach to arrive at its destination. Dr. Ose Educhum, who spoke at the opening of a library complex at Kofrom in Kumasi, believes more of such facilities are needed to boost implementation of the free senior high school policy. The library was constructed through collaboration between Ghana Library Authority and local assemblies to build new libraries and renovate old ones. Prince Apia was there in our reports.
The Ghana Library Authority has declared 2019 as the year of reading. As a result, it is expanding the number of libraries across the country. It is also collaborating with district assemblies to build new libraries to drive the literacy rates in the country. Hayford Siao is Executive Director of Ghana Library Authority.
As of today, we manage around 61 new libraries. So we are now collaborating with district assemblies to be able to build new libraries in the districts and communities of this country so that we can be able to connect Ghanaians to knowledge resources. So our objective is to be able to equip and renovate our libraries, our existing libraries. So as part of that initiative, we are collaborating with GIFIC to be able to provide computers at all libraries in this country.
He spoke at the opening of a library complex at Kofrom in the Ashanti region. Deputy Minister for Education Dr. Yaw Educhum says this will leapfrog the level of educational system in the country.
So the concept of leapfrogging means that we cannot do the same thing that we have been doing for the last 62 years after independence and expect that the country will transform itself. To leapfrog means we cannot use evolution, we have to use revolution, and to make sure that things move so fast. If we do things bit by bit, it's going to take us many years to get to where we need to be.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communication has collaborated with the Ghana Library Authority and other benevolent institutions to supply computers to some of these libraries in the country. One of them is the Chumakwaroma Rural Bank. Patrick Owusu is board chairman.
The board and the management found it necessary to donate a set of 5 computers to support the library and ICT complex that has been built.
Meanwhile, MP for Meisha North, Collins Owusu-Amankwa, has charged the local agencies to maintain the facility.
That this edifice will serve its utmost importance, and I urge the people of Meisha North to take full advantage of what this new library has to offer. I further entreat everyone to treat the edifice as his or her own property.
Now, the total number of government libraries across the country is 62.
Right, it's time for our Hotline documentary, Dawn of a New Era. Do stay tuned in. My name is Israel. Thank you very much for watching. You have a good night.